Good evening. We're going to be doing Module 3, Lesson 6. Multiply two-digit multiples of 10 by two-digit multiples of 10 with the area model. So basically, these multiples of 10, for example, 30 times 40. 30 is a multiple of 10. 40 is a multiple of 10. And we're going to be doing this by doing two different ways. We're going to be figuring out these problems with using the place value chart. Tens, hundreds, thousands, and also using the area model. So these are two different strategies that we're going to use to help us with multiplying two-digit multiples of 10 with two-digit multiples of 10. All right, let's get started. Okay, boys and girls, in this problem, they want us to represent the following problem by drawing discs in the place value chart. So, I see to solve 30 times 60, think. Well, right here, it says 3 tens times 6 times 10. So that's basically showing I'm going to have 3 tens in the tens column. But it says I need 3 tens of 6, so I need 6 of those. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and that's 6. So I have 6 groups of these 3 tens. And it says I'm going to need to multiply by 10. So we need to take all of this and move it over once to the left column, which is the hundreds, because we're multiplying by 10. So now we're moving all of these to here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we had 18 in the tens, and then since we multiplied by 10, now we have 18 in the hundreds. So basically this is saying 18 hundreds. But we don't really talk like that and say 18 hundreds. So remember, when we have groups of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we can actually cash these in and move them over now to the thousands place. So now we have 1 in the thousands place. We have 8 in the hundreds place. These are no longer there anymore because we already cashed them into the hundreds, and we don't have any ones. So our number is 1,800. So this one here is 60 times 30, and we know that's 1,800. And this is 1,800. So if you take this 30 times 60, you might look for that pattern like we have done before in the previous lessons, where you might just be looking at the 3 and the 6, and this is an 18, and then you're looking at the 0 and the 0. So you're going to see that pattern. So it's 1,800. All right, well, how is this going to look, 30 times 60, if we use an area model to represent it? Well, on the left-hand side, we've got 10, 10, and 10. This represents 30. And on the top, we have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and this represents 60. So these little squares inside, they're like it's like 10 by 10s. So all we have to do is we're going to be multiplying 10 by 10. 10 times 10, 100. 10 times 10, 100, 100, 100. And it keeps going on. 100, 100. So now we got to see how many we have here. So if students want to sit here and count all the hundreds, but they would go down. Going down here would be 3, and going across there would be 6. So now we could actually write this out as 30 times 60. We can actually say 3 times 6 times 10 times 10. Because these are 10 by 10 squares. And how much is a 10 by 10 square? It is 100. And 3 times 6 is 18. And then now we know 18 times 1, 18, and 10 times 10, 100, 1,800. So 3 tens times 6 tens is 18 hundreds, which is really 1,800. All right, so we have 50 times 20. 5 tens times 2 tens is equals how many hundreds? Well, let's do 5 times 2, and 5 times 2 is 10. So it is 10 hundredths. Well, how come we're getting the hundredths from? Where is that coming from? Well, here, right here. 10 times 10 is 100. So if we wanted to set this up by using an area model, we could make it look something like this. Split it right in half, and that's a 10, and that's a 10, because this up here is going to be 20. And then on this side, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that represents the 50. 10, 10, 10, 10, and then a 10. So then we got, inside those are boxes, we're just multiplying by 10, and we get all hundredths inside. Because we're saying 20 times 50. We're breaking this all up into the tens. So each one of these boxes represents 100, because it's 10 by 10, 10 times 10. So how many do we have? Well, going up and down, we've got 5, as in 5 in the 50, and going across, there's 2, as in 2 in the 20. So we have 10 copies of that hundredth, each one of those. So what is 10 hundredths equal to? 10 hundredths is equal to 1,000. So 50 times 20 is 1,000. Okay, so the next one says 30 times 50. So 3 tens times 5 tens, because the 5 is in the tens place, is equal to 3 times 5 is 15, 15 hundredths. Because what do you get? 10 times 10 is 100. And if we were going to create that area model to help us, this is what it would look like. So here is our area model to represent this. Over here we're doing 30, 3 tens, and up here we're doing 50, and this is 5 tens up here. So these are 10 by 10s, these little boxes, and each one of those is representing 100. Just going to continue doing 100. How many boxes are in this grid? Well, there's 15. So this would end up being 15 hundredths in this area model. And that is why we got 15 hundredths right here. So what is 15 hundredths look like? Well, 30 times 50 would bring us to 1,500. So 30 times 50 is 1,500. Okay, our last problem tonight is to print a comic book. 50 pieces of paper are needed. 50 pieces of paper are needed. How many pieces of paper are needed to print 40 comic books? Well, looks like we're going to be doing some multiplication. So this is 50 times 40. Well, what is that? 5 tens. 50 is really just saying 5 tens. 40 is really saying 4 tens. All right? So 5 times 4 is 20. But then we have 10 times 10 is 100. So we got 20 hundredths. And what does 20 hundredths look like in standard form? It is 2,000. Well, this is how it would look in the area model. So we've got 40 on the top, 50 on the side. And so we have 4 tens to represent 40. And then down the side we have 5 tens that represent 50. And these are 10 by 10s, these little boxes. And each one of those boxes are going to represent 100. So how many space box grids that we have in this box? We have 20 grids, and each one of those boxes is 100. So how many do we have? We have 20 hundredths in this area model. And how much is 20 hundredths worth? Well, again, 2,000. All right, guys, now you give it a try. 50 times 20 is equal to what? 5 tens times 2 tens is how many hundredths? 30 times 50, 3 tens times 5 what equals how many hundredths? Every night, Louise reads 40 pages. How many total pages does she read at night during the 30 days of November? Great job of doing multiples of 10 tonight. Have a wonderful night.